Distinguished Chairperson, ladies and gentlemen. Today when I'm listening to all of this, I'm concerned. Why? Because technically you can zero down on the nuances of AI and cybersecurity. How about the legalities? How do you actually attribute this to any particular state or non-state actor? If cybersecurity is done or breached by AI, can you send AI to jail? Can you take legal consequences against AI? More significantly, can you put any kind of a negative ramifications? Why? Because these questions remain unanswered. You look at the European Union, EU AI Act, no questions, no answers on this issue. You look at China's new rules on generative artificial intelligence of 2023, they refuse to answer this. You look at South Korea's new approach of February 2025, they don't talk about it. Nobody wants to talk about the elephant in the room, which is how do we treat AI as a legal entity? If we start answering that question, to a large extent, we can actually move forward on the legalities. If you don't want to answer that question, we will still be going round and round in circles. Why? Because first and foremost, how do you attribute AI cybersecurity breach to an AI or a human actor? Assuming you have the incriminating electronic evidence. Number two, where is the jurisdiction? Is it in India? Is it anywhere else in the world? Internet has made geography history. So lo and behold, it's now possible for anyone sitting anywhere to go ahead and, initiate these cybersecurity breaches. Third, what about the legal liability? Are players even now unanimous on the entire issue of legal liability? The answer is not yet very clear. Well, when I look at the European approach of maximum harm, least harm, moderate harm, maybe it's a step in the direction. But somewhere down the line, you have to realize that we are living in a cocktail times. Why? Because everything is cocktail. Let me look at India's example. India does not have a dedicated law on cybersecurity. India does not have a dedicated law on artificial intelligence. What do we have? A mother legislation on information technology, being the Information Technology Act 2000. 25-year-old legislation, only amended once in 2008 after the Mumbai attacks. Nothing prior to the advent of the new AI summer, nothing to do with AI, nothing to do with generative AI. So in a scenario like this, there are immense practical challenges. Why? Because if you don't even have foundational models on cybersecurity, what kind of best practices can you mandate? You can't expect coders to say, well, I'm developing something new on Gen AI. Let me follow the international best practices on cybersecurity. Why will they do so? Unless you are in China. Because China says you come up with these minimum parameters of cybersecurity as a part of the development process of artificial intelligence. You don't do that, you lose your license, you can't operate in China, and more significantly, you are banned for life. Also, even if you're doing cybersecurity, that's not enough. You will have to keep on giving all information to the Chinese authorities as and when they ask for it. Otherwise, you'll not be deemed to be either secure, nor duly diligent, nor reasonably secure or safe. I pause here. I go back to Europe. I look at the European EU Cyber Resilience Act. They don't talk much about any resilience in the form of cybersecurity in the AI ecosystem. So we have this huge problem. On top of it, I have a bigger problem. A bigger problem is that India is slowly going on the way back towards cognitive colonialism. We are becoming a cognitive colony time and again. It took us 75 years of independence, but now, lo and behold, Indians have begun to start relying upon AI like nobody's business. With the result, Indians have started mortgaging their cognitive capabilities to AI. Now, in a scenario like this, when you're going to target India as part of a potential cognitive colony, and you're potentially going to lace your your AI products outputs with cybersecurity malware, spyware, you're looking at a very potent combination. On top of it, if that's not enough, what I see on the horizon actually scares me. Why? Because quantum has arrived. The combination of quantum plus AI is going to be the ultimate lethal weapon. These discussions about AI and cybersecurity would look like primers of nursery when I'm going to talk of AI and quantum. I think the world needs to be prepared for that. We have not even begun talking in that particular regard. There's no clarity on the black box called artificial intelligence. Ask the coders, and they say, I can't even say how my program will behave because I can't predict for the same. Now, when accountability comes in at a cost, when transparency is not available, then the bigger issue is what kind of a trust elements can go in the same. So while it's a good idea to say, let's do more capacity building, but what kind of capacity building on cybersecurity? You don't even have your common legal parameters on cybersecurity. I'll give you an example. 2011, India came up with the Information Technology Intermediary Guidelines Rules 2011. In those rules, there was another set of rules: Information Technology, Reasonable Security Practices and Procedures, and Sensitive Personal Data or Information Rules 2011. For the first time in 2011, we came up with the concept of reasonable security practices and procedures. The law said, you follow ISO 27001 and you comply with reasonable security practices and procedures. Come 11th of August 2023, and this entire bucket of reasonable security practices is thrown out of the window. Why? Because the Digital Personal Data Protection Act 2023 has been passed by Parliament, which says, well, rather than now these reasonable security practices and procedures, these will have to give way to a much more holistic approach, that you will have to have more realistically cyber security hygiene. But still now, the parameters have not yet been defined. Look at the Information Technology Intermediary Guidelines Rules 2021. They reiterate the 2011 rules on cybersecurity. But then, cybersecurity protocols are being observed more in breach rather than in cybersecurity. In this kind of a paradigm, I'm concerned about 2-3 important national priorities. I want India to wake up from its deep slumber. Number one, India hasn't started working upon cyber sovereignty. Forget about that. Now the train for cybersecurity is gone from the platform. A bigger issue has come in, which is of AI sovereignty. Look at the Chinese law on generative AI, and it actually says it's come up with the concept of artificial intelligence sovereignty. The time has come for India to have a very holistic approach on artificial intelligence sovereignty as we want to go forward. And finally, I think we cannot be in a wait-watch approach. Fortunately, the government is doing quite a lot. We have the National AI Mission, we have the National Quantum Mission. Together, along with other initiatives, we are moving. My only problem is the pace of evolution of AI is so phenomenal. Given the size of the Indian nation and the Indian population, the most populous nation in the world, we are often seen to be a bit slow. But then India can really leapfrog on the slow approach. Let's look at what the world has done on the legalities of cybersecurity, specifically on the intersection of cybersecurity and AI, and come up with our own customized approaches. Let's not cut, copy, paste the cybersecurity laws in different parts of the world, because a number of those laws, whether in China, whether in Singapore, whether in Australia, have actually become obsolete with the advent of new threats and challenges thrown up by AI. I think it's a fascinating time, but we need to work together. But let's not repeat the mistake of what's happened in Latin America, where in a municipal corporation, a municipal corporator has used ChatGPT to generate a new law that's got passed, and after 4 months after passing, the said corporator has apologized to the House saying, sir, I didn't write the law, ChatGPT wrote the law. Let's also not repeat the mistake of this appellate tribunal from southern India, who 2 weeks back has now come up with a new judgment on a new ruling of law. They've quoted 3 cases, 2 Supreme Court cases, 1 Chennai High Court case. All 3 of them are completely fake, false, they don't exist. So the blindfolded insistence on reliance on AI without adequate due diligence is going to cost us dearly. More so when we are in a sociological standpoint, facing 2 direct revolutions facing our face. Number 1, the Great Indian Recording Revolution, where Indians are recording all the information all the time. And number 2, the Great Indian Vomiting Revolution, where Indians are vomiting data about their personal, professional, social lives on the internet. Now mix and marry that with AI. You have people asking AI, tell me what I need to talk vis-a-vis with my parents, vis-a-vis my girlfriends. So rather than just generating a girlfriend management plan, the children are today getting much more suave. They're asking AI, how can I actually bypass the instructions
Duggal sir,
of my
please
parents?
wrap it up, because I would love to hear you whole day,
So, sir,
but time is running out.
I'll finally like to conclude by saying, lots to be done. The legalities need to be addressed along with the technicalities. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you so very much, sir. Thank you so very much.